Hi friends, welcome back to the magic world of daffodils. Today I'm here with an important topics for the teachers. So our TLS exam is coming in the next week, isn't it? So all may be busily preparing for TLS exam. So today's episode will help you in the preparation. So we are going to discuss about the basic important elements of TLS examination and some of the model questions also.
At first, we can check the test overview. The number of questions will be 80 and the test duration is 2 hours and the format of questions will be multiple choice questions and it's a computer based test. There are 4 domains for the test. First one is professional and ethical conduct, professional knowledge, professional practice and professional growth. The first one is professional and ethical conduct. It includes 5 elements: respect and promote UA values, demonstrate personal and professional ethics, be accountable for the learners, comply with national and organizational expectations, establish communication and collaboration. Let's check this in detail.
These elements telling us to respect and promote UAE heritage, cultural and Islamic values. Then we should always show a positive ethic towards our teaching. We should ensure the positive and emotional well-being of the learners, and we should have a good relationship with the learners, our colleagues and our parents, and we should comply with the legislative and organizational requirements. So now we can check the question answers model questions related to this standard.
So the national agenda indicators are to be among the 20 highest performing countries in PISA, to be among the 15 highest performing countries in TIMS, to ensure that 95% in the UAE attend pre-primary education, to ensure that 90% of Emirati students complete a high school education. Next one, to ensure that 100% students have high quality teachers, to ensure that 100% of public schools have highly effective school leadership, to ensure that 90% grade 9 students develop high skills in Arabic language in the UAE NAP assessment, to ensure that no students need to join the University Foundation program. So these are the indicators of UAE national agenda. In that PISA, TIMS, all these benchmark exams. It's international exams. So now UAE is conducting all these for ensuring the competitive uh, ability of this country. So let's go to the next questions. So you should keep all these things in your mind before going to the next questions. Here you can see the first model question. What is that? Which one of the following indicators is considered as one of the national agenda indicators that will help to verify that the United Arab Emirates develop a first-rate education system by 2021? The option A is the percentage of students who pass the last cycle of the PISA test before 2021. The option B is the percentage of students with high skills in Arabic according to the national test. Option C, the percentage of students who sat the last cycle of the SITIMS test before 2021. Option D, the percentage of students with high skills in English according to the national test. So, according to the slide which we referred before, the correct answer is option B, the percentage of students with high skills in Arabic according to the national test. Let's move to the next question. Which one of the following international test result is utilized as a national indicator to measure achievement of US national vision in education by 2021? First option, trends in international mathematics and science study, that's TIMS. Second option, progress in international reading literacy study. Third one, the measure of academic progress. Fourth one is the scholastic aptitude test. So in these 4 options, we can correctly tell that clearly we can understand that it's the first option, that is TIMS, because we have already learned in the national indicators that it's one of the indicators of UAE. So the correct option is trends in international mathematics and science study, that is TIMS. So, third question is, what does the UAE Ministry of Education's vision focus on for 2021? First option, developing a qualitative education system in order to reach a high degree of excellence and creativity. Second one, ensuring quality education that meets the requirements for sustainable development. Third one, innovative education for a knowledgeable, pioneering, and global society. Fourth one is developing an education system with a high degree of excellence and creativity. So in this, he is always focusing on innovation. So the option C is the correct option, innovative education for a knowledgeable, pioneering, and global society. Question number 4. Which of the following statements represents the definition of efficiency as one of the core values in the Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct in the UAE? The first option, using all opportunities to maintain excellence in work and to improve knowledge and competencies. Second one, being committed to providing equal opportunities for the learners. Third one, using the available resources within the scope of work. Fourth one, following the school administration's instructions and regulations. In this, we can always think and understand that one's efficiency means when he is able to use the available resources for providing the maximum. So the option C is the correct option, using the available resources within the scope of work. Now we are moving to the standard 2, that is professional knowledge. Professional knowledge includes three elements. First one, demonstrate knowledge of learning, development and diversity. Second one, demonstrate knowledge of curriculum. Third one, demonstrate knowledge of theoretical basis of teaching. So let's check all these three elements in detail.
The standard 2, professional knowledge. These also has three elements. These three elements are based on some criteria. So now we are discussing that criteria. So we should be aware about the learner diversity. The kids will be of different levels. So we should be aware about the learner diversity, their skills, their proficiency of language, the learning theories and all. We should develop the knowledge of relevant educational policies and pedagogical approaches.
The first question in this part is, some students struggle to derive scientific rules based on their observations. Which of the following skills will be most effective in helping the students come up with the general rule? The first option, conduct some basic thinking processes such as sequencing and classification. Second one, conduct some processing procedures such as repetition and organization. Third one, understanding the concepts presented to them to be able to connect them and derive the rules. Fourth one, perform selective attention processes, paying attention to the content and concepts related to the generalization. So in this, the kids are facing a difficulty to reach the general rule. So they have to think and understand. So the first option is the correct option, conduct some basic thinking processes such as sequencing and classification. Our next question is, which one of the following statements regarding the stability of individual differences is most valid? First one, the stability of individual differences in cognitive traits is greater than the stability of individual differences in emotional traits. Second one, the stability of individual differences in emotional traits is greater than the stability of individual differences in cognitive traits. Option C, there are no differences in the stability of individual differences between cognitive and emotional traits. Fourth option, the dispersion range in cognitive traits is greater than that in emotional traits. So here we can clearly understand that the cognitive traits will be always more stable than the emotional traits, because emotional traits can change at any time. So the option A is the correct answer. The stability of individual differences in cognitive traits is greater than the stability of individual differences in emotional traits. Our next question is, middle school students should transition to an abstract thinking level as they progress. However, a percentage of students are unable to understand abstract concepts or think in a systematic or scientific way. What is the ideal technique that teachers can use to support students' abstract understanding? So the options are: first option, arrange students in collaborative groups, assigning each group a task that fits their capabilities. Option B, increase the number of classroom activities that rely on abstract concepts. Option C, break down the learning content into smaller units. Option D, provide concrete and interactive learning experiences that help students to construct knowledge. In this situation, we can follow the method of general to specific or concrete to abstract. So the correct answer will be provide concrete and interactive learning experiences that help the students to construct knowledge. Before going to the next question, we can have a glance in Bloom's taxonomy. So the Bloom's taxonomy steps are remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Remember means recall facts and basic concepts. Understand means explain ideas or concepts that they have learned. Apply means use information in new situations. Then analyze. Analyze means draw connections among the ideas that they have learned. Next one is evaluate. Evaluate means justify a stand or decision. Last one is create. Create means produce new or original work. So these are the steps in Bloom's taxonomy. This is Bloom's taxonomy. It's an important factor that we have to learn when we are going for our TLS exam, and for teaching practice also it's very important. Our next question is, in a lesson about energy resources, which of the following objectives is at the level of evaluation according to Bloom's taxonomy of cognitive objectives? First one, define the importance of replacing non-renewable resources of energy with renewable resources. Option B, conclude the advantages of replacing non-renewable resources of energy with renewable resources. Option C, design a plan to replace non-renewable resources of energy with renewable resources. Option D, state the advantages and disadvantages of non-renewable resources of energy. So, as we learned before, evaluate means justify or stand for something. So, we can identify that the correct option is the first one. Define the importance of replacing non renewable energy resources of with renewable resources. Our next question is, a teacher differentiates classroom activities to include audio, visual, and performance activities. By doing so, the teacher takes into consideration the individual differences among the students in terms of their option A, physical abilities, option B, cognitive abilities, option C, attitudes towards learning, and option D, learning style. So let's check these four options. Which option you are thinking it is right? Its teacher is differentiating the classroom activities to include audio, visual, and performance activities. So it's aiming at the learning style of the student. Each student has a unique learning style. So here the teacher is aiming to find out the learning style of the student. So the correct option is learning styles. Before going to the next question, we have to check some other thing, that is theories versus laws. A theory means it's an explanation for why something occurred or developed, and laws means a scientific principle that states that it's a universal truth. It's permanent laws, but theories can be changed. So a theory is developed because of some inventions or observations or something like that. Next is generalization versus concepts. Generalization means it's finding out the relation between two or more concepts. We are creating a general idea related to that topic. Concepts means it's a mental constructs, like it's an abstract concepts like family. So it's a concept. So that is the difference between a generalization and concept. Our next question is, which part of scientific conduct does the statement metals conduct heat and electricity represent? First option generalization, second one concept, third one law, and fourth one is theory. So as we have discussed all these things before, we can say that the answer is generalization. So the correct answer is option A, generalization. Before going to the next question, let's check what is meant by a learning style. A style of learning refers to an individual's preferred way to observe, process, comprehend, and retain information. So, this is a learning style of an individual. Our next question, which of the statements below is the best description of what we call learning style? First option, the way in which each learner prefers to learn. B, option B, the only way individual learns. Option C, the way learner prefers to arrange his knowledge. And option D, the most efficient way. So we have already discussed what's meant by a learning style. So we can say that the correct answer is option A, the way in which each learner prefers to learn. Before going to the next question, we have to understand what is meant by brainstorming. It's a group problem solving method that involves the spontaneous contribution of creative ideas and solutions. Our next question is, A teacher used a brainstorming technique to train students to find a solution to a problem related to the lesson topic. At the beginning of the class, the teacher presented the problem and asked one student to list student suggestions on the board so that they could collaboratively solve the problem. A group of students made unusual suggestions to solve the problems. What should the teacher do in this situation? So the options are: option A, rephrase the problem for the students whenever they come up with unusual ideas. Option B, remind the students who have presented their unusual ideas to stick to ideas directly connected to the problem at hand. Option C, accept the unusual ideas and list them to encourage students to give more ideas. Option D, be careful not to list the unusual ideas on the board. We have already discussed that brainstorming is a technique of or method that involves the spontaneous contribution of creative ideas and solutions. So here we can find out the correct option as option C. Accept the unusual ideas and list them to encourage students to give more ideas. Our next question. Which of the following questions is most appropriate to develop student skills of analysis and prediction? First option: a child started to take care of pet fish at home. The child provided adequate water and food and distributed some aquatic plants inside the bowl. A few days later, they were shocked by the death of all the fish. In your opinion, what caused the death? What caused the fish to die? Option B. Which are the applications for artificial intelligence in 2040? Make a list of the most important applications for artificial intelligence. In your opinion, which of these applications is most important? Option C. If you were the main character in the story you have read, how would your character help to develop the story? Option D. Imagine that the population of Dubai increased to 5 million people. What problems would occur? List the problems, classify them, and provide solutions. So, in this, we have to find out which option, which activity is developing the student skills of analysis and prediction. So, in the first three, there is no option for a prediction, and the correct answer is option D. Imagine that the population of Dubai increased to 5 million people. What problems would occur? List the problems, classify them, and provide solutions. Now we are going to check the standard 3 professional practice. Professional practice includes three elements. First one, promote positive learning environments. Second one, demonstrate learner centered teaching. Third one, use assessment for learning. So let's check all these three elements in detail.
Our third standard is professional practice. Under these only the learning environment and the learning process is coming. Like that, the learning environment means the learning resources that we are including in the class. It should be safe and motivating for the kids. And then it should be a child-centered classroom which promotes all the learners to engage in the learning activities.
Before going to the next question, let's check the first element once more. So it's regarding the learning environment. We should create a high quality learning environment that is safe, supportive, and motivating for the students. Which of the following statements is true regarding the use of classroom walls to display information and students' work? Option A, classroom walls should not be used to display information in order to avoid distracting students' attention. Option B, it's recommended to use all classroom walls to present information and students' work. Option C, it's preferable to use all the classroom walls to display information that is important for the students only. Option D, only a part of the classroom wall should be used to display information and student work in order to avoid the risk of fire spreading. As we have already discussed about this, we can clearly say that the answer is option D, only a part of the classroom wall should be used to display information and student work in order to avoid the risk of fire spreading, because we should always create a high quality and safe learning environment for the children. Before going to the next question, let's check what's mean by blended learning. Blended learning is a mix of learning methods combining online digital media with the traditional classroom methods. So now we can go to the next question because our next question is based on blended learning. So our next question is, which of the following statements best describes blended teaching? Option A, teaching a range of subjects together at the same time. Option B, integrating e-learning with the traditional education. Option C, combining self-education and direct education. Option D, combining teaching skills, attitudes, and values together. We have already discussed what's meant by blended learning. It's an integration of e-learning and traditional education. So here the correct answer is option B, integrating e-learning with traditional education. So next we are going to check what is meant by learning difficulty. Learning difficulties are a group of disorders involving significant difficulties in the acquisition and use of listening, speaking, reading, writing, reasoning, or mathematical abilities. So our next question is, the results of a student intelligence assessment confirm that a student is of average ability. The student learns skills, concepts, and instructions well, but fails to learn, read, and write numbers despite intensive practice. What is the most likely cause of students' problem? Option A, learning difficulties. Option B, being a slow learner. Option C, a low ability level. Option D, a lack of motivation. So here we have already learned what is mean by learning difficulties. So according to that, we can find out the correct answer is option A, learning difficulties. Because learning difficulty means it's a group of disorders involving significant difficulties a child faces in the acquisition and use of the skills like listening, speaking, reading, writing, reasoning, or mathematical ability. So here the answer is option A. Now let's check the importance of collaborative learning. Collaborative learning allows a student and professional allows the students and professionals to learn in a fun and effective way. It also helps the learners to develop valuable skills like communication, problem solving, and it improves the confidence of a child and it inspires creativity, improves the communication skills, promotes diversity, encourages the social interaction and all. So always we should encourage the children to be in collaborative learning. So let's move to the next question. When a teacher asks the class to work in groups on a task, a gifted and talented student asks the teacher if she could work on her own. The student claimed that the group hinders her thinking and achievement. What is the best response in such a situation for the teacher? Option A, to agree with the student and exclude her from the group, to give her an individual task appropriate to her level. Option B, to insist that the student supports lower level students in the whole class. Option C, to explain the student that they will learn a variety of skills beyond the task completion when they work with others. Option D, to modify group arrangements so that the student is placed in a group that she gets along with in order to avoid learning distractions and obstacles. So we have already discussed what is the importance or what are the benefits of collaborative learning. So we should always encourage a child to do or engage in collaborative learning. So here the correct option is option C, to explain to the student that they will learn a variety of skills beyond the task completion when they work with others. Next question. After teaching the steps of conducting our research, the science teacher asks the students to do their own research. He or she then read their work. Which of the following statements is the best feedback to give to a student? Option A, your research is weak and you need to rearrange the results in a logical way. Option B, a good try but your research needs to be improved. Option C, please review the research instructions I shared with you at the beginning of the unit. Option D, your research would be better if you provide your conclusion more evident. So when we are giving a feedback to a child, it should be constructive and there should be something which guide him how can he improve. So in the option A, and we are not supposed to give a bad like a negative feedback for a child. So here in the option A, B, C and D, we can select the option D as the correct answer because in that the teacher is guiding the student that how can which part he has to improve. So the correct answer is your research would be better if you provide your conclusion more evident. Next question. While administering a national or international test to one of your classes and after reading the official test instructions, a group of students begin to ask additional questions regarding the test instructions and the test items. What is the best thing to do in this situation? Option A. Reread the test instructions for the students. Option B. Provide further clarification about the test instructions for all students. Option C. Provide further clarification about the test instructions only for students who have inquiries. Option D. Ask our students to re-explain the test instructions to the rest of the class. Here, the correct option is reread the test instructions for students. Now let's check what is meant by the objectivity of a question. By objectivity, we mean that the item should call for a single definite answer. That means objective type question. Next question. Which of the following practices may reduce the test objectivity? Option A. Including open questions in the test. Option B. Including true or false questions in the test. Option C. Using key answer sheets for the essay questions. And option D. Not having test specification. We have already discussed that. What is meant by test objectivity? So test objectivity means we should get a definite single answer. So for reducing test objectivity, we can select the first option as the correct answer, that is including open questions in the test. Our next question. Which one of the following procedures is the most important to ensure test validity? Option A. Preparing the test specifications. Option B. Varying the types of questions included in the test. Option C. Allocating the test time according to the subtopics to be assessed. Option D. Including questions that measure higher and lower order thinking. Here, the correct answer is preparing the test specification. For ensuring the validity of a test, we should prepare the test specification. Next question. Which of the following actions require students to process more information than others? First option, analyze and compare. Second option, define and mention. Third option, read and complete. And fourth option, predict and formulate hypothesis. So in this, we can find out that the first option, analyze and compare, is the correct option, because in this only a child can process more information than others. A high achiever can do this activity. So now we are moving to the standard for professional growth. Professional growth includes three elements: reflect on practice, engage in professional growth, and determine impact on learner achievement. So let's check all these three elements in detail.
The last one is professional growth. So here only the professional development is coming. We should always concentrate to find out the strengths of our profession, what all strengths we have, and we should always try to improve our professional qualities.
Before going to the next question, let's check some of the teacher standards in UAE. So we should be aligned teaching and planning with the educational vision and aspirations of UAE. Next one is encourage the students to respect diversity and multiculturalism in the society. So there are many other standards. Now I am checking only these two. We are moving to the next question. According to the teacher standards for the UAE, which of the following should the teacher consider with regards to cultural values? Option A. Design learning experiences and activities in isolation from students' diverse cultural values. Option B. Design learning activities that promote the consolidation of students' cultural values. Option C. Ensure equal opportunities for including all students' cultural values in the design of learning activities. Option D. Consider the cultural differences of the school community while designing the learning activities. So we have already discussed about the teacher standards of UAE. So as per that, we can find out that the correct option is option D. Consider the cultural differences of the school community while designing learning activities. Next question. What is the best tool for collecting data about the attitudes of students and teachers towards the use of e-learning? Option A. Electronic tests. Option B. Observation. Option C. Interview. And option D. Questionnaire. Here the correct option is option C. Interview, because Only interview can give a clear information regarding their attitudes towards the topic. Now we are going to check what is meant by a case study. A case study is a study in depth of one person, a group, or an event. So it is always conducting to find out a solution for a problem. So we are conducting a study in detail about a person, a group, or an event. The last question we are going to discuss is which of the following descriptions best describes a case study as one of the research methodologies? Option A study of an individual or groups in order to reach the best understanding of a situation and to document lessons learned. Option B, a study based on simulating a realistic situation in which the researcher interacts with the participants in the study. Option C, a simulation based study in which each participant plays a role and interacts with others to solve a problem. So here we have already discussed about what is meant by a case study. It's a detailed study about one individual or groups to find out in depth about that person or event or that group. So the correct answer here is option a study of an individual or groups in order to reach the best understanding of a situation and to document the lessons learned.
Hope this video will be useful for all of you. Thanks for watching. Bye.